Hello everyone, my name is Dalton Burdett, and I'm one of the Movie Nights, and I'm here with my review of It Chapter 2, the mega horror sequel to the 2017 blockbuster It, based on the book by Stephen King, and was once a 1990 miniseries with Tim Curry as Pennywise. You know what it is, you know why you're here. You're here to watch the review for the sequel, so let's get right into it. Let's kind of talk about some things that I really liked about the movie. Number one being the cast. The cast was absolutely incredible. Everyone was perfectly casted. James McAvoy kills it because he's James McAvoy and that's what he does. He's one of the best actors working today. You've probably heard this on the internet already, but Bill Hader. Wow. Truly phenomenal performance in this film. Jessica Chastain was also incredible. She's kind of a powerhouse actress, so anything she's in is just kind of really great. Yeah, no, I can't really think of a time where Jessica Chastain gave a bad performance. Oh. But another thing I really liked about the film is that this has some really well-crafted horror sequences. Andy Muschietti does another great job in the directing of this film, as he did the first film. Although I think he did a better job on the first film, there are still some incredible sequences in this movie. Very scary, very well-crafted. The cinematography, the editing, the sound design, all coming together perfectly for something designed to freak you the hell out, and does it phenomenally well. Another thing that I particularly enjoyed about this film was the performance of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. He's going to go under-talked about in a lot of reviews, but he is truly amazing in these films, both Part 1 and Part 2. He even gets a scene without the makeup in this one, and it is very scary. Much like the first film, this film also does a really good job of handling the characters. Now, it doesn't do a good job juggling as much characters in this film as it does the first film. When this film does decide to focus on the few characters that it focuses on, it really gets deep and it hits hard right in the heart. There are a bunch of reactions from the audience I was with. See this movie with an audience, by the way. It's a whole different experience. But a bunch of people saying, "Oh," a bunch of people screaming. There were some people even crying. So on an emotional level and on a character level, it does do a good job of connecting the audience with the characters we remembered as children, the characters we knew and loved. And now I'm going to get into some things that I didn't particularly love about the movie. And I should say, I try not to compare to other movies, but I adored the first film. I thought the first film was one of the best films of 2017, and this film does not do as well in comparison to the first film. But it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the word. Disappointing doesn't always mean bad. And is the film disappointing? Yes. Is it bad? No. I think that the first act is actually very sloppy. It kind of speeds up what could be a lot of potentially great character building moments just for the sake of movie. Let's get them to Derry so they can fight the clown. And a lot of that, just a lot of wasted potential in terms of what they chose to focus on. It is a 3-hour movie, and while I thought the pacing of the film was fine, the things it chose to focus on kind of was baffling when they could have focused on other things. While the movie does do a good job with its characters, it didn't do as good a job as the first film, and it could have done a much better job. There are a lot of sequences and storylines in this movie that could have been cut out and have no effect on the movie whatsoever. There's also a lot of sequences that are amazing, but the parts between the sequences don't flow very well. The story doesn't flow as well in this movie as it does in the first film. And also, this movie attempts a lot of humor. And a lot of it lands very well, but then there's parts of it that really aren't that funny. And you can't really fault it for that because it does have a lot of really good humor and great scares. And it actually mixes the two quite well for the most part, although there were some jokes that didn't quite work for me in the film. Some of the magic is lost when it's the adults and not the kids. And you can't really put that on the performers or the story, really. I think a lot of it is there's something more magical and more scary when this story is told from the perspective of a child than the perspective of an adult. And while they do as good a job as they can in trying to recapture that magic, and they do in some points in terms of character interaction, but in terms of the overall fear and reaction to Pennywise, it just wasn't as engaging as the adults. But thankfully, there are flashback sequences with the kids, because I felt like if that was not a part of the movie, it would have felt very dull. So overall, I think It Chapter 2 is a very fun movie. I think it's a good follow-up, and it's definitely worthy to go check out in theaters and see. However, it's not as good as the first film, but like I said, it's not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination either. I'm gonna give It Chapter 2 a B. Thank you guys very much for watching. You can watch all sorts of things on the Movie Nights channel, including our podcast, which will be uploaded on Tuesday. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.